Recording in. Hey, 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 welcome back to another episode. I know it has been a little sporadic with my podcast lately, and I want to just kind of talk on a more personal level today and share a little bit more of my journey. And maybe it will offer some clarity to those of you who have been following along. I know for the last 6 years, I have openly been telling my story in hopes to um, inspire someone else to see that life is for you and that what happens to you is also for you. And also to just remind you that God will never put you in a position for you to never be able to be healed, in Jesus' name. And I just truly believe that. I truly believe that he allows the enemy at times to come into our lives and disrupt it, and even he himself will disrupt it. But those disruptions are setups, they're not setbacks. And I think that's what the moral of my story is, especially right now. So, um, gosh, today is the 20th of May, 2025. And on the 9th of May, 2 weeks before that, made an appointment for a referral that I asked my doctor to give me for the physical therapist. Now, mind you, for those of you who've been on my journey, you know that in 2013, my son Lyrics was born, and 10 days before delivering him, he ruptured and blew out into my left hip, my L45 disc, into a bunch of fragments, and it hit my sciatic nerve, and my sciatic nerve went out in my left leg from hip to toes, um, 9 different spots. And so in March of 2024, I woke up um, one morning and felt like I had stepped on shattered glass on that left foot. Long story short, I fought with my doctor for several months. I ended up swapping to a new doctor after over 20 years and just decided that it was time for a new, fresh set of eyes on my case. And I am so, so grateful I did this. You have to be your own advocate. Something I've learned throughout my entire journey, 37 years of trauma and healing from it, 17 years of that being domestic violence. That trauma began at 3 years old, and I did not begin working on myself until I was 40 years old. Something that I've learned along the journey is that if you are not your own voice or you are not your children's voice, the world will have you by the you know what's. They will literally have control of your mind, of your emotions, of your health, of your finances, of everything. You have to take back the power. You have to be your own advocate. And I think people don't realize how important your thoughts are, how important your words are. What are you saying to yourself in your situation? Are you talking about your problems? Are you constantly nagging and complaining? Or are you really focusing on the solution? So I'm on a tangent. I just feel like this is near and dear to my heart and someone needs to hear it. So I started going to see physical therapy last year. Finally, in July, I went to a foot podiatrist and he said, yes, you have an injury. We did an MRI, confirmed that injury, put me in water therapy per my request because after my 2014 spinal cord surgery, to get that disc fragments cleaned up. I didn't get anything replaced. It's just kind of spine bone to bone. And I live with that. Here we are. Lyrics will be 12 in July. So we're almost 12 years post-op. And and so I think about this and well, actually, we're almost 11 years post-op because I had surgery 13 months after having Lyrics. Um, and so, having this injury for so long, something I have learned is that I must be my own advocate. Same with my children. People will blame insurance, people will blame each other. Medical professionals is what I'm talking about. They will literally blame each other until the moon. The most success, now I am not a medical professional. First, let me first state this. This is just my testimony, my experiences. and I want to share them with you. But I have had and found the best care with my chiropractor. My chiropractor has been with me long term, longer than anybody else, and he knows about my auto accident in 2007. He knows about, slipping and falling when I was 7 months pregnant with Logan in 2004. These are all things that occurred. He knows about the domestic violence. He knows about the injury with lyrics. Like, he knows all my history, right? And so that is my saving grace. He pinpointed something was up. And I think he knew, like, but he's not in the profession to diagnose. He's there to treat, right? So I think he knew because he really was insistent that I get this looked at. Every time that I would go to the therapist anywhere besides one person, I would go to this one person, and this one person would help me. And I didn't realize that I was not getting the proper help from the other people. They were doing things to help me with the issues I had at the moment. But every time I would bring up my upper spine, they would always blame it on insurance and say I had to choose between my upper body or my lower body to work on because they couldn't do it all and insurance wouldn't cover it all. Mind you, I'm a domestic violence victim. Trigger warning, I was assaulted for 4.5 hours one time. And then a month later, I went toe to toe with the same person and was assaulted again for 5 hours. I was choked and went unconscious. I was grabbed by the hair and I was thrashed against walls. I weighed about 165 pounds at the time. I didn't have control of that moment, either of those moments. I felt helpless. I was stuck in Stockholm syndrome. I had been in this relationship for almost 10 years. I never thought it would come to that. Just being transparent. I really prayed for that fairy tale life. A part of me seeing the potential in the other person, but it wasn't potential that I should have been looking at. It was reality, the true story that was being told that I should have been paying attention to. And we'll get into that in another podcast. Truth be told, I understand today why everything unfolded the way it unfolded. Now, that that left me with severe injuries and trauma that never got treated right away. I was scared to go to the hospital, and I was afraid that they would take my kids. I didn't know if I would get to keep my kids. I didn't know, the lies that he had made up, the lies that they had told. It just left me feeling like I couldn't get help. Like if I got help, it would just, I would never see my kids again. And my kids at the time were 4, 8, and 14. And so we were stranded almost 3,000 miles away from home. And we moved over there as a family to rebuild and strengthen it. And 9 days after getting there, our whole world came crumbling down. People like to isolate, and medical professionals are no different. And not all of them, but a lot of the ones I've experienced will push off your problems for another visit so they can get more money from insurance. And this was a struggle for me. This was a really big, like, it hindered my life for a long time. Fast forward, after 10 years, my brain told me, and I did some self reflection and I did some meditation and prayer. And I asked God, I said, can you show me the person, the medical professional person who has helped me the most on this journey so that I can get back to that person? Like, I'm going to ask to be seen by that person specifically. And that person's name popped up. There was two people. One was the chiropractor and one was this therapist that I had actually seen after having my spinal cord surgery. And I had seen him and he had helped me get some more information on my body to learn more about what was going on. He actually added up, like, found some diagnoses that weren't there. Like, this was a man who knew what he was doing and he cared. He really has the compassion. It's his purpose to help someone and make an impact, and you can tell. So I seen him on the 9th, and within an hour of doing an evaluation on me, he diagnosed me. And I'm really shocked, to be honest, what the diagnosis is. I've never heard of it. It's not something that I would say is common. There's actually two of them. And so we're going to talk about that today. Like, I know it took a little bit to get here, but we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about what it's been like to live with it. We're going to talk about some warning signs that came up that not no professionals, not even like special doctors. I went to neurology. I went to rheumatology. Like, I went to every freaking kind of specialist I can imagine, and nobody caught this. And I can promise you I've been living with it for about 16 years. So this entire time, I did not know that I was experiencing numbness and tingling on a regular 24/7 basis. um and I had been having spine pain in between my shoulder blades and under my wings of my shoulder blades. And over the last year, I noticed my grip on my hands had changed. I noticed that I couldn't do a lot of things that I was doing. I noticed a lot of issues with my wrists, my elbows, my shoulders. I noticed like my collarbones were hurting. Like, these are all signs. I was having issues with breathing. I was having difficulties with some swallowing. Sleep was like ridiculously stupid. Like, I was struggling again to sleep. And I noticed that with my lower back injury, I already had that pain. I already have numbness and tingling, and I already have like loss, like nerve damage in my left leg. I already have spinal cord residual side effects from that. And because I live with that in my legs, and I have for so long, that I guess I didn't notice it in my hands. And I could like be under hot water, and my kids are like, I would burn myself if I did that. I don't know how you wash dishes like with the hottest water possible. I'm like, it feels good. Like, it feels good on my hands. And then I would take the hottest showers and it felt fine. Like, cold, I was very sensitive to cold, but over the last year, I've had to use a lot of ice packs for inflammation, for some weird pains, little sharp pains, like random things were starting to happen. And I wouldn't feel them, but I would feel them and they would kind of be intense. Like, they'd be, but I didn't realize how intense they were. I'm just going to be transparent. I thought they were pretty intense. They felt like I have a pain complex syndrome plus fibromyalgia. So I assumed that it had to do with that. And so did the doctors. Every doctor I talked to said, oh, it's just a fibro flare, it sounds like, or, oh, you must be having an RSD flare, right? And so I was going, okay, this is attacking my limbs now. Like, it's gone after the left leg. Now it's going after the right and the left arm. But it usually says that it goes after one side. Nope. I'm getting all four limbs are kind of going a little cray cray right now. So I'm questioning this because it's getting more difficult to do my daily things like getting dressed, putting on a bra, putting on my shoes, sliding on sandals and tucking the strap behind my heel or fastening it. To write is starting to hurt. I journal every day, if you don't know. I journal every day. And I'm constant. I love writing. Plus, I'm a writer. I'm writing books, right? I'm a painter. All these things are starting to hurt a little. And I'm thinking, what is going on? So I'm addressing this with my chiropractor. He's doing what he can do as they're waiting to get into the doctor and getting more questions. So this therapist has now diagnosed me with thoracic outlet syndrome. And I want to share that's one diagnosis. The second one is each of my shoulders have been diagnosed with shoulder impingement syndrome. So I want to explain to you what this thoracic outlet syndrome is and what shoulder impingement syndrome is, because I've never heard of these. And you can Google them. Absolutely, you can. That's literally what I did. And I was blown away because he nailed it. This is what I've been experiencing. So the symptoms include pain in the shoulders and neck, numbness, weakness, and coldness in the fingertips. Now, when he checked my pulse, he could barely find it in my right wrist. He actually found it way up in the middle of my arm. He couldn't even find it on my wrist. It was too cold, not enough circulation was going on. So the pain in the areas is the arm, the neck, the shoulders, everything I've been experiencing and what I just described to you. Pins and needles or reduced sensation of touch. I couldn't tell people that I could feel them or not feel them because of pressure points and because of the nerves misfiring. Cold sensitivity of the fingers, headaches, muscle weakness, or swelling. These were all things that I was experiencing. And it has gotten to be debilitating. I am not going to lie. And so I was shocked when he told me this. Now, this can be treated with physical therapy and exercise to strengthen the shoulder muscles and open my thoracic outlet. The thoracic outlet, if you don't know, it is located under your collarbone and under your top right rib. Now, I don't know if it's located on your left side. I don't know if each side has them. I didn't go into that detail. I know my right side is the one injured and that's the one that's been giving me trouble. Now, this this injury, what happened is my collarbone and my top right rib have been pushing the thoracic outlet, which is where all this patch of nerves come down and go through you. So the nerves had been pinched by the collarbone and by that rib. And the shoulder impingements, there's like three or four, I want to say four or five nerves that run down your shoulders and they run down your arms on the outer part of your shoulder. Okay. Now, mine, my shoulder, my shoulder blade has, or my shoulder bone, where my arm socket and my shoulder meet, it has been pinching those nerves. And so that's what the shoulder impingement is so I seen him on the ninth. He told me all of these things. He noticed some things about my gait. He noticed some things about my knees. He noticed my hand mobility was very limited as far as my wrist. I didn't even realize that, you guys. Not even kidding. And so I'm going to be seeing him for a while. We're going to get this all figured out. Well, he had me go to the chiropractor that afternoon. So a couple of hours after that appointment, I went and seen my chiropractor. When I seen my chiropractor, I told him what he said. My chiropractor said, let me see what I can do. At that point, he went and he did some movements on me. And when he did the movements, he literally like thumbs grinded into that collarbone under it and under that rib. And when he did that, he released those nerves, that pinching. When he released that pinching, the nerves woke up again and started firing and not misfiring, settled down because they didn't need to go all crazy on me, right? Because they've just been overfiring and overstimulated. All of a sudden, he released the shoulder impingements. And all of a sudden, I could feel every part of my upper body. I could feel everything from my shoulders to my fingertips. The numbness and the tingling went away. What I didn't realize was going to happen was my body was going to go haywire. So I spent that weekend down in bed, Mother's Day weekend, down in bed in the most excruciating pain of my life, worse than childbirth. I can only compare it to my spinal cord injury and my gallbladder going out, like just very high pain. and I couldn't put anything on them. I could take ibuprofen for inflammation and pain, and I could put ice on them to calm the nerves down a little bit. But I will tell you, I felt everything and I was so oversensitive, and my brain was tired, having a traumatic brain injury plus all these nerves misfiring. My brain was tired because for once I was understimulated instead of being overstimulated. And I didn't know how to take the calmness inside my brain. And my brain didn't know what to do with it either, to be honest. And it took about till Tuesday, yesterday, today, today, yesterday, Monday. No, I'm trying to think because I've literally just I've been down all week. I just starting yesterday, it was Monday, starting yesterday, started feeling better. So it took 10 days for my body to like realign itself and to just do some healing. And I have felt everything. Turning a doorknob hurts. I realized I've done some damage to my wrists and my hands that I didn't know because the numbness and tingling were blocking that pain and blocking the symptoms. And so I'm doing healing work with the therapist and the chiropractor, seeing kind of where this goes. I'll see them again Thursday and Friday. But it's incredible. I didn't realize for 16 years I haven't felt things correctly. And to touch something, it feels like I've never touched it before. Like it feels brand new. I can't remember ever touching a book and having it feel that the way it feels now. Same with holding things hurts. Doing something like stirring something hurts. Um, Hot water is super hot now, and I almost burnt myself 4 times the first day after getting my sensation back. I turned on the hot water thinking it would do some relief, and it damn near burnt me. Cold is super cold. I now have a pulse in my wrist. The colors of my arms have come back. They're not pale anymore. My breathing has changed and it's better. I'm no longer choking on air or things. I I can't believe the difference already. It's it's emotional, it's overwhelming, it's incredible. It's God. They say that God will bring you through things no matter what. And I've heard it time and time again. I've read it in the Bible. And I truly believe I asked him for this healing. He showed me who I am. He has shown me my purpose, and I truly believe him. And I don't just say that and take that lightly. I know what I'm supposed to do, and I've seen it through other people. I've seen it through my journey, and and I know that he'll bring me through this. And I just keep reminding myself that this pain I'm feeling is temporary, that what I'm going through is there's just me sharing this today, someone's going to find their own diagnosis. Someone's going to push harder to get answers. Someone's going to see the healing work that God does when we ask and we want something and we desire it, because I desire to feel my best self. I desire to live a long, long life. I want to watch my grandchildren grow up. Like I want to see them have babies. Like I want to be able to just change and impact lives. And I know what my purpose is. And I didn't know that for a long time. And so today to have that purpose is just so it's like this fire inside of me I can't put out, and I'm grateful. So I know this is temporary, and to just know that like I have a treatment plan. Like I have a plan in place. And my kids were really worried that I was going to overdo it, or that I was going to, do things that I shouldn't be doing to hurt myself. And I explained to them that I have a different mindset today than I did when I first got my diagnosis with other things. And when I was still trying to figure out how to navigate life with a traumatic brain injury, when I was still healing from that brain injury, when I was working, working on myself wasn't a thing 6 years ago. And some of those diagnoses came long before I began working on myself and truly doing the inner work. And so I sometimes see my family and friends and people that have known me for a long time, they don't understand the changes that have happened within me. And I need to show them more. And that's just really the truth. I need to show them more. And by me taking care of myself and me not overdoing it, that's how I'm going to show them. And so for me to do the self-care is huge. Like that's top tier because that was something I would put absolutely last. And so I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to have answers. I'm grateful to have somebody who hears me and understands me and and believes in me. And so I hope this can help you navigate where you're headed on your journey. I know that we do not have to live with chronic pain. I know some people are going to look at me and are going to listen to this and think I'm crazy, but I truly do believe in earthly healing right here. And we have the power to speak that and ask for that, and we just need to really have faith and believe in it. And it's deep down inner belief for me. Like, I know that the enemy is put here to seek, kill, and destroy, but God doesn't allow him to do those things. Like, the enemy can put us through so much, but at the end, God gets the glory, and he will take care of our battles. And so I'm just super grateful for it. And I know that with that gratitude, it literally so much is created and given to us. And we also get to give that gift to others when we're grateful. And so just living with that gratitude, I think that's really what has taught me the most about myself. And and I think that's what really has helped me the most in pushing through this part of my journey. And so I hope that can inspire you. And, next podcast, we'll talk a little bit more about gratitude.